A few weeks ago, I posted on LinkedIn at what we might think of in the next wave of AI agents. Right now, there's a massive gap between ChatGPT power users and complex workflow builders like N8N and Zapier that, that everyday people aren't going to use for the majority of their tasks. As a result, I built FlowEngine. In this example or version of FlowEngine, a user can add in their OpenAPI key, add in a prompt for the kind of documents that they want created, select their number of outputs, and start generating multiple versions of their output automatically. So in this case, we're asking for a markdown document for another agent to help write content in different styles. So as it makes that, we can see multiple iterations of this content that we can use and iterate on. So we can make it more concise, generate more options, things like that. So a really simple example of how a kind of parallel agent or multi-agent system might work, where you can review multiple different outputs. So in this case, we see the revisions based on our feedback. So a nice way to iterate and iterate. But today, I've taken this one step further, and I've actually created a completely new interface for FlowEngine. It's going to be much more similar to Cursor and with the power of ultimately something like Claude Code in the future. This is just an MVP, but let's jump in and see what it looks like. FlowEngine today is built for people that need multiple agents running in a single system. So in the previous example where we showed different versions of content based on one prompt, in FlowEngine, we can actually make multiple agents to help iterate and improve on content in a new way. So on the left-hand side, we've got our file structure. So this is very similar to how a code editor might look. So we can see we've got a folder of agents. We've got our first agent, which is going to create initial content. And we've got a second agent, which is going to evaluate the context. So these are very short prompts in terms of the quality and kind of specificity that they're going to produce, but it gets the example across. So that example is going to be created in this outputs. So what we can do here is we can come to the chat assistant and say run first agent, and what that's going to do is this agent system is going to read the instructions inside of this agent document, and it's actually going to create new files as a result. So here we can now come into the outputs folder and we can see that the instruction was successfully completed, and we've got 3 new content agents in this series. But the magic of this is actually going to be running the second agent in, or sequentially. So now I can say run second agent, and that's going to now complete the instructions of the second agent. So I don't have to copy and paste a prompt that I know I'm going to use hundreds of times. I can just get it to read that file, read that prompt, and come into FlowEngine and edit the output files. So we can now see this summary, which was kind of the task of this second iteration, which was create a summary of the content. So this final line was added. So it now is describing in the agent summary. Well, that gives you a quick example of just the basics of what's possible with a system like FlowEngine, which is in the browser. So you don't need to download Cursor, you don't need to download Claude Code, but you're getting the same starting power of Claude Code in a web browser that you can work to increase your kind of output in whatever you're trying to do. In this case, it's content, but it's completely customizable for you to come up with your own structures to help yourself and your business or your job that you're ultimately trying to leverage with AI. So let me know what you think, and I'm sure by the time you check this out, there might actually be a few updates anyway.